Hello everyone and welcome to this tutorial. In this video I'll be showing a looting route that you can take to get geared in DayZ Standalone. On top of that I'll be showcasing which buildings are the best to loot, because there's a pretty high variety of loot spawns in buildings. And that way you won't waste time looting our important buildings. And as a new player, you may struggle with callouts that other content creators use in their videos, so I'm also going to be covering the different callouts for buildings. This will be a series with multiple episodes where I cover different looting routes each time. The goal here is to cover a looting route at least for every spawn that you can have, which will be a lot of looting routes in the end. Today, we'll be covering a chill route that is not common at all and where you won't find as many players on your way. Before we start though, we have to ask ourselves at what point the looting route is over. Technically, I can show you a route across the whole map, where you end up at your starting point again with a ghillie suit and an SVD ready to kill fresh spawns. So, when exactly is the route over? Maybe we should set a specific point on the map, and I think that's a great idea. Our ending location will be the northwest airfield. So in this looting route, I'll be preparing you for the end game at the airfield. You'll have plenty of guns, ammunition and food ready to die again and do it all over. Hell yeah. But without further ado, let's get straight to the video. In the first episode of this series, we'll be taking a look at my favorite looting route that I use most of the time. This looting route goes along the North Road, so you should get a spawn as close to Svetloyasti as you can. This route is a pretty long one, but also very effective, and it's perfect for the people that want to loot up in peace with little chances of running into other players. But let's say you're unlucky and you don't get a spawn in town, but at Riffy. Well, that shouldn't be a problem, because there's this road that leads you straight into town. Once you're in town, you'll be greeted with 4 buildings that you should loot immediately. You'll have a so-called barn house on your left. Beyond that is a brown double story. On the right side of the road, you'll find a normal cabin, and down the road is the cafe. After you're done looting these buildings, you want to go to the right and loot the Haber, which is the most important place in this town. Specifically, you want to loot all the containers here, because there are military containers, meaning they spawn all kinds of military gear, mostly clothing. However, you do have a chance of finding ammunition. This last container even spawns guns. Usually, you'll find pistols or, if you're lucky, smaller SMGs. However, it can also spawn assault rifles. And don't forget to loot the so-called toilet building or guardhouse. It has 2 names. Because that building spawns police gear, meaning you'll find SMGs as well. Clothing, mags, all kinds of stuff. It's really important as well, and you have a good chance of finding a gun in here, or at least ammunition like an MP5 mag. Once you're done looting the guardhouse, you want to go up the road and hit the cafe building. And the cafe buildings in general are amazing, because you have a high chance of finding food in them, or even rifles in the back. After that, you want to go into town and loot these small shops, and they're also great because they spawn food and magazines for your guns and ammunition. Don't forget to loot the so-called blue door corner buildings. You'll have a good chance of finding rifles in them. No matter what town you are, you should never skip these buildings. After that, you have a police station that you can loot. Police stations usually give you clothing, mags, ammunition and guns like scorpions, BK-133s, MP5 and pistols. However, there is a good chance that the police station has been looted already. And then you want to go for the medic building behind the PD, because meds in DayZ are really important. You'll find stuff like morphine, painkillers, saline bags, blood bags, antibiotics and more. Little side note, antibiotics heal sicknesses like the cold and cholera. You can drink dirty water after using them. Vitamins also help against the cold, cholera and salmonella. And if you're not hurt, you can also drink dirty water after using them. And if you're not playing on a hardcore server, you can eat raw meat from animals and not get sick if you're using vitamins or antibiotics. Morphine lets you run like you're on 100% health for 1 minute, no matter how low your health is. Painkillers let you run like you're on yellow health for 5 minutes if you're below 50% health. Perco tablets help you with salmonella. So after you now gotten a small and quick insight on what meds do, we'll continue our looting route. After looting the medic building, you'll be quickly rushing through all of these buildings for ammunition and food. You then follow up the road from PD and loot the buildings on the left and right, again for food and other supplies. Once you're done looting, you want to continue and follow this road until you hit the gas station. Inside the gas station, you'll have a chance of finding smaller caliber pistols, so definitely worth checking through. After you're done at the gas station, you want to move north through this open field until you hit these stone edges. You want to get down this hill to the railroad. Once you are on the railroad, you'll be seeing 3 tents. Move over towards them and loot them, since they have a good chance of spawning vests and other ammunition. From here, you want to loot the remaining cars and follow the road until you hit this T-split. You want to move left and follow the road up until you hit a car park on your left hand side. Quickly check through the car park for more food and other supplies. You then continue following the road. Shortly after, you'll have 2 buildings on your left. They're called food buildings because they spawned a lot of food back in the day. You may want to check through these, since they also have a good chance of spawning rifles. You're now in so-called Chennaya Polana, and I suggest you loot every single building in this town. It should take about 15 to 20 minutes, but it will be absolutely worth it. Chennaya Polana is a town that not a lot of players run through, so here you'll have the best chances of finding Mosins, Winchesters, Blazes, and all kinds of other rifles with enough ammunition. Quick tip from my side, never forget to check on top of these food shops, because that actually spawns rifles. Once you're done looting the town, you want to move west along this road. It will bring you directly to a train station. Here, you'll have more cars, 3 shops and 2 military containers. You want to loot it all, especially the containers, since I often find SKSs or a UMP in them. Never do you want to skip these containers. North of you, you'll have a big town called Novo. Novo is not the real name, it's Novo and then there's something really long, like I'm not gonna go through it. Feel free to loot the town a little, but it will be very time consuming, so I suggest you just skip the town and keep moving along the railroad. You'll be running on the railroad for a good few minutes. After that, you'll be passing this dam with the so-called green mustache house next to it. Fun fact, the building is called Mustache House because the wood thing above the entrance looks a little like a mustache. You now want to go down the hill, cross over the dam, and quickly take a look into the Mustache House. You'll then be walking along the road until you hit more buildings. Yay! Feel free to check through them, however, it is not really necessary. You'll then enter a town called Cervigino. I suggest you loot the whole town. However, if you don't want to, you definitely need to loot the theme park here and all the cabins and granny buildings. You even have a water pump in town next to the double red building. Now you should have plenty of gear already. We will now enter a summer camp close to the military compound in the forest. You have a good chance of finding players here, so always stay cautious. To get to the summer camp, you need to run through the forest. However, it's pretty rough trying to explain how to get there exactly because of all the trees. So you either want to try your luck and just walk through the forest, or you simply follow the main road out of town until you hit these barns on the hill. You want to go uphill towards the barns and you'll be seeing this weird hole in the ground, I don't even know how to call it. The summer camp will be straight north from here, so you basically just move over and into the forest. Or you simply take the road to your left that also brings you straight to it. You want to loot all the buildings here. You have multiple small summer camp buildings that have a very high chance of spawning scopes, rifles, such as Mosins and Blaze, and ammunition. These summer camp buildings have the highest chance of spawning hunting and PU scopes, so never do you want to skip them. You also have 2 civilian barracks and 1 medic building. I suggest you check through these for more military gear, such as assault rifles, vests and better clothing. Do not skip these. And keep in mind, you are close to a military place, and this place in particular is also very high traffic. So always stay on the look for other players in the forest trying to snipe you. You then move through this gate and go up the road to the point where it splits again. You want to go left here and follow the road for about 2 minutes. You'll be passing the small hunting stand on your left. Might as well want to loot it, right? From this hunting stand, you will be walking down a road for about 200 to 300 meters and cut straight north into the forest up the hill. You'll be hitting a wall, which means that you're now moving into the military compound called Kamensk Military. In here, you want to loot everything. Take your time and scout out the area before though. You have a lot of hills and stuff to spot if players are moving through the compound. The last point of this base is the bus station all the way west. You definitely want to loot it, since it spawns vest, ammunition and all kinds of other stuff. You now simply want to leave the base by moving west and walk a tiny bit southwest, not much. If you walk too much southwest, you'll be hitting the road again, which is also fine. You simply then follow the road until you hit the civilian barrack, the single civilian barrack. While you're there, you might as well want to check through it. You now should have a very good lootout with enough food, guns and ammunition to stay alive. As you can see, the road now splits up again. To your west, not very far at all, you will have another town called Kamensk. It is up to you if you want to loot it. I usually don't and simply move left in the road. You want to simply follow the road. It's gonna be a good walk for about 5 to 7 minutes until you're out of the forest. You then have a few buildings to your left and right. Consider checking through them if you feel like it. I usually have enough gear at this point and just skip them. You will then pass this barn and have a huge city in front of you. This city is called Severograd and you also have a high chance of running into players here. At this point, I simply just look into the town from the hill and see if I can maybe spot another player running. And then if I don't, I'll leave the town without looting it. However, let's say you were really unlucky and you still not haven't gotten a vest somehow. This town has a few so-called garage buildings next to the main road that offer you a chance for a press vest. And the press vest is the second best vest in the game. So if you still don't have a vest, follow this road and move along it until you hit this big medic building. Consider checking through the medic building and move right past it. You'll be passing a shop, an orange brick building and finally a garage building. The vest usually spawns on a table. You even have another garage building right next to the one that you just looted, so also take a look into this one. The vest usually spawns inside this room. You then simply follow the road. It is up to you if you want to loot the town or not, but at this point we'll be leaving it. You'll pass another garage building, an industrial compound and a PD. Feel free to loot it. You want to move right at the fire station and follow the road for about 3 minutes. You will then be greeted with 3 more military tents that you can loot. After that, you simply follow the road again. Consider looting the buildings on your left. They spawn more rifles and ammunition. You will then hit a town called Redno. I usually skip the whole town and just drink at the well that's at double green. Loot the town if you feel like it, or simply follow the road for 5 minutes. You'll be passing through more buildings on your left and right, and I always skip them there. It's not necessary to loot them, to be honest, but obviously you can. After about 5 to 7 minutes of walking in total, you'll see a white barn and a red barn north of you on the hill. Once you've went up there, you'll be greeted with more civilian barracks. Loot all of these civilian barracks and go back to the main road. And this is basically where the looting route is over. From here I cross over the open field and go up the mountain. Once you're on the top, you've reached the very north side of the airfield, which is our ending location, as mentioned in the beginning. You have more than enough guns, ammunition, food, and other supplies. Our journey ends here. However, this is the point where your journey just begins. I hope you like this loot route as much as I do. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and stay tuned for the following parts, because our goal is to have a looting route for every spawn available. I wish you all the best of luck on your journey from here, and I will hopefully see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.